Good evening. Warbles on a lot to YouTube, to the SunFoil community, I guess. I got a bit of a second analysis of the early figures of Dave's act with his minimalist SunFoil, and here's how we're looking. Today is the 12th of July, and he put 33.36 litres in, right? .06 kilometres to the litre was how far he went on the fuel that he put in last time, which was 95 octane. Okay, we now have a coherent explanation for why, when Boy Racer effect kicked in, there was quite such a horribly big effect on the fuel efficiency. That was also the first tank of 91 octane instead of 95 octane. 95 octane is pure petroleum, the 91 octane is 10% biofuel mix. Alright? But compared to the last tank of fuel before Dave ordered his SunFoil parts, he's now going 16.4% further. If we allow that 6% of that is placebo effect caused by driving more carefully after realising that he'd ordered the bits and he needed to establish a rigorous baseline for how well his car could do when he drove gently, he's still 10.4% in front. Okay? Now 10.4% to the sort of person who seems to put 33 or actually 35, 34, 35, 36 litres in 3 times in a week, right? Then Dave's already saving between 7 and 10 litres per week. Now, let's say he's paying $1.50 a litre for his 95 octane unleaded. That's what I'm paying for the stuff I've got running in the generator at the moment. If it's 7 litres a week, he's saving $10.50, 52 weeks in a year, like $550 a year. If it's 10 litres, then, you know, like, he's closer to $700 a year. It's almost a frightening thought. He spent $135 for a solar panel and a regulator and a fuse and a bit of cable. He's done no aerodynamic streamlining, and he's already saving enough fuel to buy the system in 4 months, 5 months perhaps, maybe 3 months. My understanding is that battery chemistry responds very slowly to being fully charged every day, so I think his fuel consumption is going to drop progressively slowly for another 2.5 months. There's only been a SunFoil on the Ford Explorer for 13 days, and he's 10% in front, and that's allowing for all the Boy Racer effect. He's soaked up the Boy Racer effect. That's cool. You want all that talk, you can have it. He's told me in a PM that instead of having to sit at the traffic lights with his foot on the accelerator, maintaining the RPM until the lights go green and then tromping on the accelerator to get across the lights, he's now sitting at the same traffic light with his foot on the brake to stop his car from leaping forward. And when the lights go green, he lifts his foot off the brake and the car commences to accelerate before he gets his foot onto the accelerator. And I've explained to him on the comment thread, this means when your car's idle speed was adjusted with a screw on the carburetor or the injector, whatever it is, it was adjusted against a part flat battery, and the part flat battery was dragging on the alternator, and therefore your idle speed is now too high because the battery is no longer part flat. When it's closer to being full, it's going to be totally full in 2.5 months when it's recovered from a lifetime of starvation. Yeah? How long does it take to get a concentration camp victim and feed them up and give them an exercise regime that allows them to gain weight? How long before they stop improving? Yeah? 2.5, 3 months? You think that's enough to recover from a lot, years in Changi? Well, that's kind of like what happens to a car battery, alright? It's overworked, it's underfed. And the SunFoil helps heaps. To the boffins who claim that their textbook says that V-belt step-up drives are 97 or 98% efficient, and therefore I can't possibly be right because the belts would melt, all I could say is my V-belt has cooling fins so that it can dissipate the extra heat. The other thing I would say is the manufacturer of the alternators told me in a letter years and years ago that the automotive alternators reached a peak efficiency of 50% at 4,000 RPM. Now, maybe the alternator spends so much time slower than 4,000 RPM or faster than 4,000 RPM, like at the traffic lights when the engine's doing 1,000 and the alternator's between 2,000 and 3,000, or on the highway when the engine's doing 3,000 and the alternator is between 6,000 and 9,000. And at those RPMs, the alternator is only 20-25% efficient. So maybe the alternator spends most of its time in the 25% efficiency range, and that would account for the people who like to believe that their belts are 97% efficient. I'm used to thinking of an alternator as being 50% efficient and a belt as being 50% efficient. It's a trade-off. Either which way, the explanation is coherent and in accordance with the observed facts. If you put a solar panel on the roof of a normal road vehicle, your fuel consumption will drop and you will have more available torque for the gearbox to play with. It isn't bullshit. These are the results of somebody who lives 700 miles further from the equator than I do. That's road distance, so call it 350 miles straight line. But, Dave lives in Canberra. He drives in city traffic. He's got a four-wheel drive V6 and he's used to burning 70 litres a week, and he's now burning 10% less since he fitted a SunFoil. I'm not making it up. He's not making it up. I'm not controlling his experiment. It's just that we drive hillbilly hybrids because we're bright enough to realise we do not run our alternators on a perpetual motion pulley. And nobody can stop you from doing this. Ciao.